This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Earlier this year, Kingdomino won German Game of the Year Spiel des Jahres. It's the biggest award in board gaming. Well, upcoming this Essen in October is going to be the sequel to this standalone game called Queendomino. Now I already did a sneak peek that I got a chance to take a look at this at Gen Con. I did a mini review already. Now I have the game in my hands and I'm going to do a competitive analysis between Kingdomino and Queendomino. Which one should you get? If you have one, should you get the other? If you didn't like Kingdomino, will you like Queendomino? All these questions, let's do it quickly. I'm going to give you two quick 1-minute overviews of each game and then we'll get to my comparison. Kingdomino is a 2 to 4 player game where each player is going to be building their very own kingdom of a 5x5 grid. These tiles have different things like forests and water and caves, and when you place a domino you just have to make sure at least one side matches something that's next to it. Dominoes are lined up from lowest power to strongest, and going from weakest from chosen last round gets to pick first in the next round. So the stronger tile you get now, the last choice you'll get next round. After each player's finished their 5x5 grid, everybody looks at every one of their territories, multiplies the number of crowns, times the number of spots, in this case 2, times 4 is 8 for the blue. You do that for all your territories. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Queendomino by itself is also a 2 to 4 player game. It plays exactly like Kingdomino with some added things. You can place a tile and now add a knight, which will give you a coin for each piece of that territory. Coins are used to purchase different buildings, which give you abilities and or points. Let's say I grab this one. And I can build it on one of my new types of red towns, which gives me points in this case. It also got me 3 towers. The majority of the towers gets the queen, which gives you a discount on buildings. And if you have her at the end, adds a crown to a field for multiplying your points. But if anyone at least ties you with the amount of towers, they can take the queen back from you. So you might want to bribe the dragon to destroy a building so that they cannot get a tower. Buildings can give you things like crowns for your towns, points per towers, points for different number of territories of different types, and many more. And you can even combine it with Kingdomino to play a 3 or 4 player game with all of you having a 7x7 grid. Or play with 5 or 6 players with a normal 5x5 grid. And even play an 8-player team game. Now I've already done a full review of Kingdomino and I did a mini review with a sneak peek of Queendomino. Both of those are in the description of this video. If you want to go look at those, you can see those full things. Now first, let's start with Kingdomino. Now this one has a special place in my heart. Last Gen Con 2016, Blue Orange Game had 2 copies of advanced prototypes of Kingdomino. I got one myself. We gave the other one to Z Garcia from the Dice Tower because him and I are brothers that really like Bruno Cathala. He's our favorite designers, both of us. So we each both got the first copies, and it's just really cool to have that now, knowing that it did win the Spiel des Jahres, that we had the first copies of that. This game has a special, special place in my heart. Now, Kingdomino itself, I think, is an excellent game for introducing new people to the hobby. It's simple, it's easy to teach, it's got cute dominoes. If you've asked them if they've ever played dominoes before, not that it's too similar to dominoes, but they at least have heard that name before, so it helps them get in. And the game's super easy, quick to teach, and it's a fun game. So it has its place with those newer gamers that you're trying to get introduced to this great hobby of board gaming. Also, the game is less expensive than Queendomino. The game's only 13 bucks on my sponsor Miniature Market's website, and so it's cheaper, it's smaller, it takes up less table space and less shelf space, and so it's got those positives as well. And I think it's a great platform for a next step game. You've got these gateway games, which is Kingdomino, but it's also another great platform to get to the next one. So let's talk a little bit more about Queendomino. So that is that great next step game. So if you've taught someone Kingdomino, well, to get them to Queendomino is going to be a step. It's not going to be, for gamers, it's not going to be like, oh, this is the deepest, greatest strategy game ever. No, it still might feel somewhat light to some heavier gamers, but to people that have only played Kingdomino, this is a great next step game using everything they've already learned and just adding some things around it. So it's a great next step in that regard. It is more expensive than Kingdomino. It's $21 on Miniature Market versus the $13, but it's still inexpensive, which is a great thing. The box is bigger, a lot bigger actually. It's not quite ticket to ride size box, but it is big enough. Big enough actually that I was able to put both games in the Queendomino box. I had to, cut up a little bit of the insert and make half and half and make it fit, but I was able to fit them all in the Queendomino box. But it's more expensive, but it's still pretty cheap at $21. This game, Queendomino, gives you more choices and more replayability with figuring out the towns and figuring out the bonuses you want to go for, and the queen, and when to use the dragon, and when to place those knights. A lot more to think about in this, so that it adds that. I really like that about it. And the big thing is adding them together, right? You've got the 7x7 grids for 3 to 4 players, and you could play 5 to 6 players with a normal 5x5 grid, or you could play up to 8 players in a team game. So lots of different things here from these two. So let's get to the main questions that you'll ask now that I've set the stage for the differences between those and you've seen the overviews. So if you have neither, you don't have Kingdomino, you don't have Queendomino, and you say, do I want one of these? If so, yes. Which one do I want? Or should I get both of these? Well, I'll say that if you've not played either of these, if you almost always play with people that are beginners in gaming, or you like very quick games, 15 minutes that are easy to teach, you can pull out while you're eating dinner or cooking dinner or doing something like that and play it, then Kingdomino is probably the right choice if you would only buy one. If you always play with gamers and you don't mind the 30-minute quick game if you're a heavy gamer, then you'll probably like Queendomino better. However, if you don't like spatial elements, like putting, and not that these are Tetris-sized pieces, but if you don't like putting things around, neither of these might not be for you. So keep that in mind too. So what if I would recommend buying both, honestly, because you can put them both together. But so if you haven't played either of them, it's going to depend on your taste. I mean, granted, you take the 21 to 13, you get for $34, you can get both. I think that's great. That's more. You'll get more gaming experience, I think, with this, and the more variability with the number of players than you will with a lot of games that you'd buy for that amount anyway. Now, if you have played Kingdomino, you're going to say, well, does Queendomino replace Kingdomino? And I definitely got to say no. I've heard some people say that it has replaced Kingdomino for them. Absolutely not for me, and I'll tell you why. Number one is the different player counts. Now, you can play with 5 or 6, or you can play with teams up to 8. However, the biggest difference, I think, is you could play the 3 or 4 player game with the 7x7 grid. When you play with the 7x7 grid, the game takes longer, but there's more going on. You have more time to react, more time to create your strategy. And I think the game is better at a 7x7 grid. It was designed for a shorter game, but people that I play with like the 7x7 grid. Now you can play that with the 3 or 4 player count when you add them both together. So I think having both of them is excellent. So I don't think this replaces Kingdomino because, again, it has that place for the beginner gamers. If you want to bring somebody in, and it's the perfect game to next step into Queendomino. So I don't think it's replaced Kingdomino. I think what it's done is it's taken what Kingdomino has done and has done it in a more interesting way that gamers will like. So I don't think that you'll just buy one or the other. If you like the engine, I think you'll like both of these. Now, if you did not like Kingdomino, someone will say, well, I didn't like Kingdomino, well, I like Queendomino. It depends. If what you didn't like about Kingdomino was that it was just too simple, but you liked the element of the drafting and the way of how you put your player, and if you get the easiest one, you have the first turn next time. If you liked that aspect and you liked the spatial aspect of it, but you just felt like, there wasn't much game here, there wasn't much going on, then yes, I think you should give Queendomino a try. I think you'll probably like it a lot more. If you didn't like the spatial aspect or the bidding aspect or the drafting aspect, then I don't think you'll like Kingdomino. So if you have that and didn't like it, that's what I think about that. Now, do you think you should just buy Queendomino itself? If you're a gamer and you never play with lighter gamers, yes, I think that's fine. For some of you, I think Queendomino will be the only way to go. If you never play light stuff, you don't play with non-gamers that much. And again, even for you, this will probably feel like a light game if you're a heavier gamer. So, Queendomino versus Kingdomino. Well, for me, I think they both have their places in my collection. I've kept both of them. Granted, I put them both in the same box, which helped me do so, but I would have done it anyway because, again, I like to play with a lot of people that don't play games. I'm out there evangelizing games all the time, and this is a great game for that, so I don't think one is better than the other. They're just different. Kingdomino is great for a short, quick game with people that don't play games that much, and Queendomino takes that engine and just turns it into a lot more thinkiness. And so they're both great in their own regard. Will you like both of them? That depends on you. I hope what I've told you in this review will help you decide which one to get. Should you get neither? Should you get both? Or should you get one? Based upon what I think, I hope this has helped you find the next game you'll love. Well, this has been the Game Boy Geek, helping you find and enjoy the next game you'll love.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.